Hey Biscuiteers, Fuchsia here. So, today we're playing a classic archetype of mine. It's basically Heal Haven, or I would call it more Control Haven to be honest, but it is basically Heal Haven, centering on Eris with Bellerophon, the new card that heals, and whenever that heals you at the end of the turn, but also if you evolve it, whenever you heal, you deal a kill effect, which is 1 damage to all your enemies. So pretty fun. This deck used to beat Evo Shadow, and it was used to counter Evo Shadow quite successfully by many people before the nerfs happened. So I'm recording this after the nerfs, and I just wanted to see like how good it would be after the nerfs, you know, after its main prey had been nerfed and lost popularity, basically. And yeah, we'll find out now through the games. Alright, first match I'm going to show, just to like illustrate to you how this deck works. It's against Portalcraft. Going first is not the best for this deck to be honest, because you have 2 followers that you really want to evolve, and I have both of them, and to be honest, this might be foolish of me if I just chose to keep both of them. But just to be honest, I don't think you need to do that every time, but it's just that you're definitely going to play them anyways, except in like certain situations. That's the thing with this deck. Sometimes you have to like really this is quite a tricky deck to pilot, because sometimes you really need to like prioritize, okay, do I just need the Bellerophon effect, and the Ares is like irrelevant to me except like board locks, so maybe I don't need the Ares effect. Or maybe you just want to go for the Ares effect because you're like, okay, no, I just want the goddess on board and I don't need the Bellerophon, so I don't need to like save an Evo win for her, you know? Like sometimes you have to think about that. Here though, I just play a Master Chef, and they perfectly walk into my Sacred Gavel. Sacred Gavel is such a good card. It's basically like a tribunal of good and evil on steroids, because it heals you and banishes a 3 play point follower. Like here, I had a thought of like, okay, what do I do? Do I Sacred Gavel? Do I Sacred Ice? One thing you have to think about this deck is that it's literally a control deck. Like, sometimes it's hard to think about that because of the rarity of control decks in Shadowverse, but sometimes you just don't play anything because you really just want to control, and you win with like surviving and like reducing your enemy's response to you by reducing their resources, as hard as that is. And here we see I just play a Bellerophon first, just because I play Bellerophon first just because I have a thoughts that like number one, this is like more this is more of a threat than Eris attack wise, so it's like more pressure for them to drop factory. Number 2 is like I thought I might need Bellerophon's effect active first, so I can start dealing damage and also like clear their board easier in case they don't factory. And at the end of the day, they do decide to not factory here and to trade the Yuan here instead. Now, this is a perfect place for me to Eris, and I just evo the Eris and use a Sphere Relic to banish that 2/1, reducing their artifact count, which can be quite relevant. When I trade and they just draw, just dealing a bit of damage, but really I just wanted to spend the play points efficiently and draw. Usually you want to like save your play points, save your cards sometimes, but with this deck with so many costs, there's not really too much leeway in how you spend your play points, so I like to spend them efficiently. Here they do spend the Moblast Factory, leaving the Eris up, and I'm able to like put some pressure by playing the Unicorn and the Unicorn Warrior here on top of the Eris. I just go full on because I know that they're going to clear my board anyways. Might as well go full damage here and make them work for like clearing my board, right? So they do manage to like clear the board because they're artifacts. Of course, they manage to clear the board, but they don't manage to like do it super efficiently, which is good for me. Here they have to play the Paradigm Shift into another barrier basically, and trade into the 6-7, and they basically have to like actually use their entire resources to clear this board. It's okay for me. They're at 12 damage. They're at 11 health now. I just pull for some extra resources because there's no real way aside from like Holy Saber Burst to like actually burst with this deck. So instead of like trying to like play super tempo, I just use the lull in tempo to like play play that card, play the Smile Cure Priest, because with the Smile Cure Priest I'm able to like guarantee 1 heal every turn, and now I have Marlone and Abdiel here. So with Abdiel, I can just play her. One of the reasons I decided to play Smile Cure Priest instead of Abdiel last turn was because now I can combo her with Marlone. Marlone I just inserted because I kept losing to big boards too much. And this helps with like getting rid of the Mobilized Factory. I heal here just to deal a bit more damage. Maybe that was like a bit of an overreach. Maybe I shouldn't have spent that heal. You tell me. Probably shouldn't have spent that heal, to be honest. But at the end of the day, they can't lethal me. They don't manage to lethal me, especially without the factory. And now I get my premier follower, Sacred Ice Crusher, which is actually quite good. Trading here, and the ping completely removes that. Now I just evo the Sacred Ice Crusher and heal again, ping again, and deal damage. As you can see, we consistently deal pings to them, so we actually deal damage slowly. And now we're surviving while we have Relic Goddess on board. Now this deals damage and is able to like, well, I don't know why they did it in this particular order. I would because now I just realized it's because they have 10 play points. But yeah, they decided to do that and like set up for this instead, which kind of is their hope to like stop me from doing lethal. But they're so close to lethal now, and the Relic Goddess is obviously impenetrable. So I just gavel here, deal 1 damage, and then of course by proccing the gavel, I deal 1 more damage, and then I just trade and go face. Well, they concede before I go face, but you get the point. Alright, second game I wanted to show was against Bloodcraft. So, honestly with Bloodcraft, it's really tricky. I think like you can win, but it really depends on your, like, you have to play really smart. Here's the thing with this deck. I feel like this deck has turned from a counter shadow deck almost to like a deck that you need to like, that can win, but you have to like play really good. And like, as someone who just, I play a lot of decks and I basically like play all classes, so I never master one deck unless I'm like grinding. So for someone like me, it's really hard for me to like play this deck without losing and going like, oh yeah, I should have done this and that. But if you guys main this deck, I'm pretty sure you can win against classes like Bloodcraft and stuff pretty consistently. That said though, this is kind of the early Blood power, and I missed the 50-50 here, which is sad, but one of the things I wanted to highlight here was basically, even if you lose early tempo, and even if you lose like even if you lose the gacha to like get the cards you need, like I don't have Bellerophon, I don't have Eris here. Because this deck is like a control deck, because it is a control deck, you really don't need to panic too much, as long as you can survive and like reduce your opponent's resources. Like right now, the Blood player only has 2 cards in his hand, so I'm not too bothered by it. Now he has 4 cards, but right now it's not too like egregious, and I still have like a lot more resources in hand, and I have a lot of heal. I can survive for now.
We'll do this the hard way.
Especially with these unicorns amulets proccing.
You have summoned the blade of purgation.
Just removing this 4/4.
I'll see you in
Very good.
purgatory.
I just projectile anointment here. I could have played the smile here to be honest, but I really wanted to draw the Bellerophon and stuff. So I decided to just lose the three damage. I couldn't heal it anyways later. Thankfully they don't have an amazing turn, just playing Knight of Purgatory and damage me, so I don't like lose out a lot of tempo there. And I gotta heal anyways. Here comes Bellerophon, and because I want to like clear the whole board, this is actually possible because of Smile Cure here, so I'm actually glad I didn't spend that Smile Cure. Here I'm able to heal and heal and heal. And I get to clear the board, and they only have three cards in their hand. They have Dark Emperor here, but it's not a problem for me because I have Abdiel in my hand. The counter to it, just banishing it. Of course, it doesn't deal damage to him because of that, but I'm fine with that. You know, like as long as like he only has like 2 cards in their hand, so it's like this is like the classic like I have much more resources than me, right? They do keep still doing damage. So here I just choose to play Holy Saber. Because like nothing in my hand is really a solid heal right now except for like Unicorn. So instead of going for the heal, I decided to go for her Holiness Decree and make myself immune to like damage. Even though I usually save it for like turn 10 because of like Dark Feast Bat. Because they only damage during their turn by 12 and I'm like an 18 plus. I'm not really that scared of them because I can just keep healing. And they play a Dark Emperor here, and thankfully for me, I have an Abdiel in hand, so I just play as many heals as I can, which I think is like acceptable, and I just banish it. Of course, keeping an eye on that breath counter just because of like Dark Feast Bat. But yeah, now I'm feeling pretty okay because I have Holy Saber. They don't have Dark Feast Bat, and even if they played it right now, then it wouldn't be lethal. In the end, they did get Urias, and they spent their entire hand, which is quite sad, but good for me, I guess. So yeah, now I have a guy top decking with like 1 Urias in hand. This is perfect for any deck, but especially for a control deck, right? So yeah, I basically removed all his stuff and I increased my max HP just so that I can like mitigate like Dark Feast Bat's threat. And I was going to use Unicorn and Smile Cure, but then I drew the Unicorn Warrior, and I thought, oh, maybe not. You know,
show me the limits of your will.
They drew another Urias, which is whatever. Not too bad, not too good. They play Arcane Wolf, which is quite annoying, because it does heal them, and it does deal damage to us and moves our followers. But at the end of the day, it's not too much problem. We're still at 20 HP. 21 actually now. I just play the Holy Saber here because I have the combo with the Unicorn Warrior, and this is basically the only time you can burst with Heal Haven with Holy Saber. Of course, you have to like pay attention to like the trades and the HP too, but here I just see lethal, so I just play it. Play all the heals, and then destroy them with the super buffed Holy Saber, and voila! Alright guys, so that was Heal Haven. Now, in terms of like, is it good? Still good, like, as before, when it countered Shadow, which is the most popular deck in the ladder? It's hard to say, but I would say that, number one, it's definitely not as good because it's an anti-meta deck. Playing in a meta where like a lot of the decks that was preyed on by Evo Shadow now is being played, and for example, Ward Haven completely outclasses this sometimes, especially if they get the under effect off. the super Skypoint art, which isn't that hard. And because this plays into a long game, a lot of the time, a lot of like the decks which just has like big turns of burst, like for example like buff dragon can like decimate this. That's one of the reasons why I added Marlone. But because you don't have any huge like burst heals, it's really hard to like keep up with like huge bursts. And that's why like against Sekka as well, like the premier decks right now I feel like are Wardhaven and Sekka Forest, right? And against both of them, this feels quite weak. Although against other decks, I feel like the only difference is that you need a bit of skill. You need a bit of skill and good decision making in order to like preserve your resources and like heal and survive enough so that you can keep controlling and eventually win the game. That's my conclusion, because a lot of the time I just end up like, oh, I'm board locked because I played one card carelessly. Oh, I'm like they have like exact lethal because I didn't play a heal fast enough. You know, like you have to have good judgment. So I feel like this is like has turned into like a quite okay tier 2 or tier 3 like control deck that you have to have a bit of like practice and like good decision making into making it a super viable deck. It's definitely not like Wardhaven where you can just play followers and then like go with the game plan. Because you're reactive, you have to like make really good decisions in order to win. It's not just like Eris, Bellerophon, and then you win. You have to actually like think about your turns. And you have to think about your text too, because I was facing a lot of buff dragon, for example. I ran Marlone so I can like remove them a lot and then like just heal up damage. But yeah, overall though, I still love this deck because, of course, it feels so good when you stop your opponent from playing cards, you know? I don't know, maybe that's the Haven player in me. But anyways, yeah, I hope you find success with this deck because it's genuinely fun and I really like it. And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, give me a sub. And like always, have a great day.